Okay, tonight we've got a Republican town hall. It is Cruz, Rubio, and Carson. The next night, it'll be Jeb Bush, Donald Trump, and Kasich. We won't be covering that because on the same night, we're going to have Bernie Sanders versus Hillary Clinton, and we'll be covering the Democrats instead. So tonight, the Republicans. Tomorrow night, the Democrats. In these town hall events, they go one by one. We've had a number of town halls, on the Democratic side, and that's because Democrats scheduled very little debates. And on the Republican side, there's been a ton of debates scheduled. So we didn't really need that many town halls. Now, with the Republicans, I'm going to warn you ahead of time, this one could be unbearable because they mainly do just talking points, especially Rubio and Cruz, who are both robots. And if you don't think Cruz is a robot, you should check out the video JR made that we put on YouTube of the Cruz bot, and that's youtube.com/TYT, of him repeating the same talking point over and over again. It was brilliantly edited by JR to show you what kind of a robot Ted Cruz is. So, and then Ben Carson's not a robot. So, I mean, we kid around that we might take a nap during his time up at the podium, lectern, whatever it is, right, or sitting down. And we kid around that he might also be taking a nap. But the reality is that actually might be the most fun part. Because he's he's the one most likely to say that Putin runs a one-horse country.
Or that Putin was originally designed to store Cheerios. I don't know. The idea of him speaking for 35 minutes straight, it seems absurd on its face, but we've never seen it before. And it's going to be harder for him to reference questions from 20 minutes ago. There's some chance he might do well. There's some chance that he might destroy his candidacy tonight. Because we've never seen anything like this before.
Yeah, and I mean, it's a very fair point that his candidacy is already destroyed. So,
that's true, yeah. He might acknowledge it. He might catch up to the rest of the country.
Yeah.
Although he's still beating John Kasich and Jeb Bush in the national Republican primary polls.
Wow, that is interesting. So let's do that. Let's give the good folks. Oh, by the way, Trump with massive leads in Nevada and South Carolina.
Yeah.
Now, this is a little strange. They split up the Democratic and Republican voting in the two different states. So annoying.
I hate it.
So this Saturday, don't miss it though, because it is important. And so we do keep it real with you guys on stuff that is and is not important. But this Saturday is, because it's the Nevada caucus for the Democrats. There, Bernie Sanders has closed in to 43-42, so within 1 point of Hillary Clinton, according to the latest poll, which is a real poll. So who's going to win that? That's significant drama and is relevant, again, for momentum going into the other states. And then Saturday is also the Republicans' primary in South Carolina.
Yeah.
So now we're going to be on the air at noon Pacific, 3 o'clock Eastern, because the Nevada caucuses end shockingly early on Saturday.
Yeah,
I still can't believe it. We've triple-checked, quadruple-checked. But yeah, so we'll be on the air at 3 p.m. Eastern for the Nevada caucuses. That's Sanders versus Clinton. Of course, as always, tytnetwork.com/live. And then we're going to take a little bit of a break probably after we cover that for an hour, 2 hours, whatever is required, depending on how close it is. And then we'll come back on the air at, I think, 6:30 p.m. Eastern for the results of the South Carolina primary for the Republicans.
And we'll go until sometime during the midterm elections.
Yeah.
I think.
And then we'll go right through Sunday and, and just keep on going. So the town hall obviously hasn't started yet. And so, John, give us the latest polls.
Okay, so nationally, Donald Trump in the aggregate still has 37 points to Ted Cruz's 18.5, Marco Rubio's 16.5, and then it drops down to Carson at 8, John Kasich at 5, Jeb Bush at 5. So nationally, it does not look good for them. The most recent polls, I mean, we did have the NBC Wall Street Journal poll putting Cruz at 28 over Trump at 26, but the same day, and I don't know how this is possible, Morning Consult has Trump at 41, Cruz at 12. So it's only like a 50-point swing between those two polls. I would go with NBC over Morning Consult there. In South Carolina, the most recent polls, several of them have Trump at 33 and either Cruz at 20, Rubio at 19 as the next closest, or Cruz at 14, Rubio at 16. So either way, they're in second and third and not particularly close to Trump in South Carolina.
So
And Nevada is just a bloodbath so far. That's the
if you
biggest
look-
lead I've seen.
So if you look at the overall polling results for the Republicans, that means that tonight we have 2, 3, and 4 up against each other, right?
Yeah.
The ones that are ranked second, third, and fourth. Tomorrow night it'll be 1, 5, and 6. Now 1 is Trump, so he's a little bit more entertaining. 5 or 6, I guess 6 at this point, is Jeb Bush, and he's also entertaining in his patheticness.
Yeah. Well, he does have a gun now, though, so that might come into play.
Yeah. And at a town hall event, Jeb Bush might be exposed in kind of a funny way. Like there'd be a lot of, you're gonna have to
cut off.
You're gonna have to cut him a lot of breaks. And then at some point he's gonna run out of time, and the next candidate's gonna have to come up, and he's gonna be like, they're kicking me out. They're kicking me out the door.
Mom.
Right.
That'll be embarrassing.
And we'll see if he asks for people to clap. But we won't see that because we'll be watching Bernie Sanders and Hillary Clinton tomorrow night. But tonight, again, going back to Ben Carson for a second, we've never seen him have to answer one question after another.
Yeah.
35 minutes is a long time for a dude who does not know what he's talking about.
And is very, very tired. And
So-
it's late.
There could be some significant gaps that, like,
He might say something crazy.
right, we might break the fail record tonight with Ben Carson.
Or maybe he'll have to go back to, his instincts, and he'll just end up hitting the moderator in the head with something heavy. I don't know.
I hope the moderators have good belts tonight.
Yeah. I think Marco Rubio is going to win tonight. That's my prediction. I
Ooh,
think that
nice
in a
prediction.
town hall format, Ben Carson has a small chance of out-charming the rest of them, I guess, because he does seem like a nice guy when he's, you don't know anything about him. I think that Ted Cruz is going to out O'Malley in the town hall format, assuming that they're talking to the actual question, like the people giving the questions. I think he is just going to be smarmy and disgusting. I think Marco Rubio, I don't know, I've heard that he is a good debater. He has not always shown that, and he does basically repeat the same couple of points over and over. But I have a feeling that he is going to stand out from these two, especially since he can't be directly attacked by Ted Cruz in the way that he has in the most recent actual debates, or by Chris Christie.
That's true. He wilted under the pressure, and here there won't be
pressure.
because it's not another person in the room with him or another candidate. And I believe Anderson Cooper is going to moderate, and if he does, in the past, at least on the Democratic side, he asked very tough questions.
That's true.
So we'll see if he does likewise for the Republicans.
Doubt it.
Yeah,
You never know.
that'll
You never
be
know.
interesting.
It's Anderson Cooper, so maybe.
Maybe, and if he does, that'll be great, and it could be interesting to see how they respond, especially if he does follow-ups. If he goes soft on them, I know after all this, it's funny that I would be quote-unquote disappointed, but I really would. I'd be disappointed in him doing the same thing that everybody else on CNN and the rest of the mainstream media does. I don't know why I would have any more faith in Anderson Cooper, but I kind of do.
A little bit for Anderson Cooper, and there's some chance that he'll go hard on one and not on the others. I think there's a very good chance that he is going to ask, like O'Malley got at a couple of town halls, he might ask Carson, why are you still in this race? He might say something to that effect.
Oh, but that's easy. I know. There's no question he's going to say that.
I know. I'm not saying it's a hard, a tough question to answer, but it's not a question you want to have to answer in public.
Yeah. So we're going to play a fun game in a second because they're now 10 minutes past when they were supposed to start. They still haven't started.
They don't want to start because they want to cover Donald Trump's event instead.
Right. I just wanted to add.
Which they've cut to, by the way. An event that was set up to take away their ratings, they've been doing quick cuts to show Donald Trump.
They're so silly. Okay. So, my prediction will be not that Rubio will win. I really don't know who's going to win, and I really don't know who the Republican voters are going to perceive to have won. Maybe we'll have a clearer sense of that, obviously, at the end of the night after we watch what happens today. I hope so, but we might not.
We might not, yeah.
Because we're going to get hit with a wall of talking points tonight.
Yeah.
Okay? But I do know that in this format, the pundits will say Rubio won. Unless something goes terribly wrong, Rubio has already scripted out almost every one of his answers.
That's true.
And he's memorized them. I'm serious. That's what he does. And I've talked to reporters who are covering these events. Rubio will not answer questions from the press. So he will hit and run, right? Cruz, to his, I guess to his credit, and the others will stick around oftentimes and answer questions. Rubio does not want to get exposed.
Yeah.
He's a paper
Could
tiger.
be exposed tonight. I mean, The questions from the town hall audience are not usually difficult or that difficult, but they could be, and he doesn't necessarily know what they're going to ask.
See, that's the thing. That's why it's all on the moderator, because it doesn't matter how quote-unquote hard the question is.
It's just sticking it.
Because Rubio will just take whatever talking point he has and just stick in that answer,
Yeah.
and he'll largely avoid whatever question it is. That's why can the moderator do follow-ups and go, wait a minute.
Yeah.
No. He asked you this, and you said this. So now they have to serve the role of Chris Christie a little bit there.
Yeah, exactly.
And
one area where I hope to see that is, I have a feeling, just because it's apparently he's been going around talking about it at events, but while all of the candidates have talked about Scalia and whether or not there should be a replacement, I feel like Ted Cruz is seizing on it more than the others, because he's already planning to do some big demonstrative filibuster if anybody is going to be debated. And so I think that he is going to try to make a question about Scalia, even if it's not normally, and he's going to give his BS 88-year talking point. And so it'll be interesting to see if he does that, if Anderson Cooper actually points out that none of that is remotely true.
Yeah, that definitely will be interesting. Again, I feel like mainly based on how tough he was with the Democrats, that he would do that. If he doesn't, it'll be an extreme act of cowardice.
If he does, he'll get booed.
Yeah,
although
that's
theoretically,
okay.
it's just supposed to be regular people in the audience today.
So, and by the way, today we do have a little bit more of an opportunity to take your tweets. I know there's a bunch in here from the regular show, but give us tweets about the election as we go forward. Hashtag TYT Live to do that. Okay, John, fun game. You ready?
Okay.
Okay, this is not easy. I'm going to put a full 2 minutes on the clock here, okay? And here we go. Name the 11 Republican candidates who have already dropped out.
Okay, Bob Jindal, Pataki, Walker, Paul, Carly Fiorina, Chris Christie, Gilmore. Did I already say Gilmore?
No, you didn't. And I have a prediction.
Oh, I think Perry was in originally at one point. Oh, God.
Only you've used less than 30
more.
seconds, and you only have 3 left.
Okay. Think about this reasonably. Who at one point made it? I already said Jindal. I already said Pataki. Oh, Lindsey Graham. And, Santorum. And Mike Huckabee.
Jesus Christ. Boom. That was really well done. I clocked that at from 06 to 44. I have to do math on that. 38 seconds. I'm amazed. Really nice job. I was in the middle of saying I have a prediction on who you're going to miss.
Who was it?
As you said, Rick Perry.
Oh, so yeah. It was hard. He was in the race for less than 38 seconds. So,
right.
Yeah, it was hard to, because it feels like he just ran the previous time.
That's right.
Yeah.
And so I guess I couldn't have had a more wrong prediction, but you got to it so quickly, you didn't give me a chance to make the prediction. Boom. Therefore, I was never wrong.
There's always an out. There's always an out.
I didn't have to bring it up. I brought it up even though I didn't even finish the sentence.
That's true.
Okay. So if I had a hot tub time machine, no, I don't know why that's been on my mind so much lately.
I don't know.
Okay, so part of the reason I did that, other than it being fun, is that, we have lost a lot. There's been a lot of casualties. That's a lot of people that dropped out. We're down to 6.
Yeah.
I mean, 6 is a lot, but given that we started out with 17, not that many, right?
The fact that we needed an undercard and that not everybody who wanted to be on the undercard could get on the undercard originally.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, let's see. Soon more will drop out, maybe even a couple after South Carolina, which, again, is just Saturday for the Republicans.
Yeah.
So
I think that it's time for Jeb Bush to give himself a break. Just drop out, man.
I certainly think that. And Carson is just in it. The problem with Carson is he might never drop out. He might go all the way to the convention.
No, he might go past the election.
Yeah, and
past the inauguration, he's still running.
And they're like, "Hey Ben, are you? You know that there's been 2 presidents since you started running, right? Like, are you ever going to drop out?" He's like, "Oh man, I'm sorry, man. I just took one giant nap and forgot to wake up and drop out."
It's a major fallacy that one can only run. Wow.
Well, and actually, if you think about it, his is the slightly more logical move. Now, he's doing it for the money. He's doing it for the attention. If he had already dropped out, he wouldn't get all this attention on a night like this. He wouldn't get, his Q rating is going up as we speak. His speaking fees are still going up. right?
What's he losing?
Yeah. The only reason that Chris Christie, Scott Walker, those guys drop out is because they think they might have a political career going forward.
Yeah.
And so they don't want to embarrass themselves and they don't want to piss off their donors.
Yeah.
Right? Well, Ben Carson does not have a political career, doesn't really have many donors to speak of.
Yeah.
He's just trying to sell more books. So the longer he hangs on, the better for him.
Yeah. Yeah.
So that's why he, by all intents and purposes, he should have dropped out by now. He certainly should drop out after South Carolina and might not.
Yeah. Yeah, and like we've talked about before, if he were to, it would help Cruz, I think, but it would help Trump a little bit. I don't think a ton of Carson voters are necessarily going to Rubio.